Yakmath is a set of project-based lesson plans for high school teachers that builds and supports students' understanding of math. The lessons lead students through mathematical thinking, from concrete to abstract and generalization, and are taught through an embedded formative assessment cycle. In nearly every lesson, the math to be learned for that day is learned through an essential real-world question. Each unit also has a long-term project, which allows students to use the math of that unit in context. At the elementary level, we give students blocks, and we ask them to draw blocks, and we use those blocks and those drawings of blocks to learn math. This, in turn, leads them to mathematical ideas that are ultimately expressed with symbols we call numbers. We move elementary students from concrete thinking to abstract thinking, but we often neglect to do this at the high school level. At the high school level, there is a tendency to skip concrete thinking altogether and move right into computation. To give you an example, in algebra, we have historically used word problems, which may or may not reflect how the world really works. A traditional real-world problem might look like this. You are going to paint the interior walls of a room. The walls are 8 feet high and the room is a rectangle of 20 feet by 15 feet. A gallon of paint covers 125 square feet. How much paint will you need? The students skip the concrete step, and all of the information they will need is given to them, so they don't have to think about it. That never happens in the real world. Instead, a better way to ask this question would be, we are going to paint the classroom. How much will it cost? When we ask the question this way, the students can now use the classroom as their concrete model. The teacher can have them draw the room and label the appropriate measurements, and from there, go through the stages from concrete to pictorial to computations, abstract, and generalizations for this problem. Students have to decide what information they actually need, and they are given the freedom to create a method that makes sense to them, instead of repeating a rote process that they don't necessarily understand. In most lessons, students work in small groups and report out their work for the rest of the class to see, allowing every student to see and discuss each other's thinking. By setting up lessons this way, teachers can better understand student thinking, not just whether a student can or cannot do a math problem. And this also allows teachers to adjust their instruction to meet students' needs, wherever students are. The lesson structure also gives students a variety of ways to solve math problems. By using Yakmath, students are given more opportunities to understand math in context that actually apply to real-world situations, instead of things like 2 trains leaving their stations. And by using Yakmath, teachers get lessons that are planned out, with project-based, real-world applications that allow teachers to better understand student thinking and modify their instruction to the needs of the individual students in front of them.